Voting, election and voting, that's right. So there are people running for those offices. How do they convince you to vote for them?
I've seen commercials.
Commercials, what do those commercials say?
I mean, some are mean commercials talking bad about other people.
Yeah, that's not very nice. What else, how else do they convince you? Posters.
They say like the good things that they've done.
The good things and facts about themselves. So today we're going to learn about LaRue and his experience running for mayor, and about reasons and evidence through LaRue's experience in the campaign trail. So in LaRue there are two main characters, Buckworth and LaRue. So we're going to start by talking about Buckworth a little bit. He says, Buckworth calls for canine crackdown. Calling dogs a menace to our community, Mayor candidate Hugo Buckworth yesterday announced his plans to crack down on the beasts. We can no longer tolerate this sort of behavior, he said, citing recent dog-related problems. Mr. Buckworth proposes not only a leash law and a curfew, but a complete ban on the animals in most public places. This town is literally going to the dogs, said Buckworth. I intend to stop it. So that's Buckworth. Now let's talk about LaRue. LaRue says in a letter to Mrs. LaRue, how I envy you the safety of your hospital bed. Here in the outside world, things have become perilous indeed, at least for dogs. The awful Buckworth continues his scurrilous attacks. Yesterday, he referred to dogs as gangs of hooligans. He must be stopped. Therefore, I have decided to throw my hat into the ring. This afternoon, I will announce my candidacy. Doubtless, the public response will be overwhelming. Your next mayor, Ike. So, we've talked about Buckworth and we've talked about LaRue. Now, what are their positions? What does Buckworth think? Let's talk about him for a second.
He wants to get rid of dogs.
Okay. So Buckworth, he wants to get rid of dogs. Okay, what about LaRue?
He wants to keep dogs.
Keep dogs, okay? That's right. So they are contrasting each other. So, who can tell me what the difference is between reasons and evidence? Does anybody have any idea?
I think evidence might be more factual.
Factual, okay.
Reasons kind of like if I would give a reason to give my opinion, so it's like facts and opinions kind of.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They go hand in hand. So, how would you identify reasons and evidence in a text? Are there certain words you could look for that would help you? Emily?
If the person is saying I think or I believe, then that would be the reason.
Okay.
Versus if they're saying truths.
Okay. That's right, evidence. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to split you into two groups. Anna and Taylor, you'll work together, and Madeline and Emily, you'll work together. And what you're going to do is you're going to have LaRue, you'll be assigned to LaRue, and you'll be Buckworth. And what I want you to do is take the highlighters, and you're going to go through and you're going to highlight the reasons and evidence that you find in the text. Everybody needs to at least highlight one, and then you're going to present your reasons and evidence to the class, and we'll write them up under the slide that you're on.
Are we supposed to find reason and evidence?
Yeah, either one of these. So that one.
I feel like I could have been better with these. We could do reason on using like a horrible we found another reason that said, he said, in fact, I would be honored if Ike would serve with me as assistant manager.
Buckward says that about
Oh.
Ike. That could be later.
Okay, so,
That's
so he's like, he's kind, LaRue is kind.
Big names, Buckward.
Okay? Buckworth, what did you find for your reason?
We said that he thinks that dogs shouldn't be allowed in the city because of how destructive they are.
So they're disruptive. What's your evidence for that?
One thing he says is that a pack of the rambunctious creatures broke up the annual fishing derby on Black Lake.
So they broke up a fishing derby. Okay. Anything else? What about at the very beginning of when Mrs. LaRue got hurt? What happened at Buckworth's inaugural speech? Right here.
Oh, a hot dog cart.
Okay. Anything else?
Another evidence we found was that a dog snuck into the butcher shop and stole a string of beef sausages.
Okay, so they're stealing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so based on our reasons and evidence between Buckworth and LaRue, who would you vote for? If you had to choose.
There's more evidence for Buckward, but LaRue has a good point about the dogs.
I like
I
that.
like
So,
that. You like that?
I would go kind.
He's kind.
Yeah, he's nice.
So being kind is more important than having specific evidence?
It depends on what it is.
Yeah.
When it's dogs, you know.
Yeah.
Dogs always win.
Well, these girls kind of hinted toward it earlier, but the way the story ends is that LaRue helps Buckworth. He gets sick, and so he helps him. So Buckworth offers LaRue to run for assistant mayor with him. So they become friends, and they overcome their differences, and LaRue becomes assistant mayor. So it all works out in the end. Yes. So, what I want you to do now, I'm going to give you this worksheet. And I want you to pretend that you're running for mayor or president, and you're gonna say, vote for, you're gonna put your name, and then I have some colored pencils, you can draw a picture of yourself if you want, and then it says, vote for me. Down here, I want